I'm going to take another quick moment to thank all of our esteemed sponsors: Husky Energy, June Warren Nichols Energy Group, Enbridge, Synovus, AMEC, Fluor Canada, Suncor, BP Canada, Talent Hub, APEGA, Schulich School of Engineering, Shishi Couture, Willow Park Wine, Digicopy, Spa Lady, and the Sandman Hotel. So just give a round of applause for our sponsors. Right now, we are set to welcome the Executive Vice President of the Western Access of Enbridge, Janet Holder. Ms. Holder is responsible for the overall leadership of the Northern Gateway Pipelines project, providing oversight in advancing the project through the public and government review process. Ms. Holder is also a member of Calgary-based Enbridge's executive leadership team. Previously, Ms. Holder was President Gas Distribution, the first woman to hold that position. We can't think of anyone more suited to offering a talk about having a successful career in the engineering sector than someone like Janet. In 2009 and again in 2011, Ms. Holder was named one of Canada's most powerful women, Top 100 by the Women's Executive Network. Please join me in welcoming Janet Holder to the podium.
There we go, thank you. So thank you, Lenore, for that kind introduction. And thank you, Sharon, and all the organizers for inviting me to be with you all today. And it's great to see so many women. The interesting thing is I knew I was at a women's event when I actually could sit in the washroom and actually was introduced to Sharon through the cubicle walls, something I don't think happens at a lot of male conferences. So it is really wonderful to be here to share a few thoughts about women, about engineering, and about leadership. And I hope that you gain some useful lessons from my experiences as a woman working both as an engineer in management and as well as my role leading the Northern Gateway Pipeline project, a project I am very, very passionate about. So, okay.
We had trouble with
I'll do this way. There we go.
I'll try and get it changed again.
So let me start a bit about myself. I was born in Prince George, British Columbia, which is where I live today. And that is really where I got the beginnings of my learnings that have led to my success, and also as my role of an engineer. So first of all, my mother. We all start with our mother. There were two things that she continually preached to me during my childhood. She would support me in anything I wanted to do, provided I stuck with it no matter how tough it got. Perseverance. And the second lesson was that there's very little in life that's worth worrying about or getting upset over. The positive attitude. The other childhood learning is what I learned about leadership at the age of 6. At the age of 6, I was very sick. Couldn't go to school, so my mother sent my older brother, who was 10, off to school, bring home the homework, and teach me. Now you can imagine 10-year-olds don't make good teachers. Very good doers, I discovered, not good teachers. So he would do my homework for me. Now I did get better, but my brother continued to do my homework for me as long as he was living at home. When he graduated high school, was leaving at home, I still have 4 years of school left. You can imagine the horror in my life at that point in time going, who's going to do my homework? Fortunate for me, an older cousin came to live with us, and he was equally as capable and as willing to do my homework for me. So, the lessons. Now, at the age of 6, I understood two key, very important things. One is, they can do your homework, but you have to understand it because you're the one that's writing the test and have to pass the test. And second, I was not lazy. I just had better things to do with my time. So it was all about delegation without abrogating my responsibilities, and it was about efficiency, which led to a very great balance. Now back to my mother. She was always amazed that my brother and cousin would actually do my homework for me. She repeatedly would say to me, how do you manipulate these guys into doing this for you? I looked at her and said, manipulate. It's motivate. There's a difference. So what I think this shows is that women, at least this woman, are better delegators and are better at multitasking. Two key skills that have led to my success. I'll give you an example. Here I am today. I'm standing here wondering if my husband's actually fed the dogs. Is there gas in the car when I get home on Friday night to get myself from the airport home? Is there, has my dry cleaning been picked up? Unlike many men that I know, they come into work and they just work. They get focused in on work. The whole concept of what needs to be done to run a household doesn't happen in their workplace. It does tend to happen for women in our workplace. So a little about my career. Let me begin by stating that I trained as an engineer, but over the last 30 plus years, I've been training for the role I always really wanted, and that was of a teacher and a mentor. In other words, a leader. I've actually been fortunate enough to have over a half dozen different careers so far: engineering, sales, marketing, gas supply, regulatory affairs, communication, public relations, operations, and the president. And I'm now the executive vice president of Western Access for Enbridge. However, in everything I've done over the last 30 plus years, without a doubt, my engineering background has been the foundation of my success. So why did I enter the engineering profession? Originally, I wanted to be a classical pianist or a music teacher. My technical proficiency was there. Classical music is all about mathematics, but I didn't have that innate artistic ability, nor did I have the ear required to pursue such a career. And unfortunately for my family and teachers, they were well aware of that shortcoming long before I was. But back to my mother, I should have clued in the day that she said, Janet, you really don't have to take music lessons anymore. And I said, no, I remember the speeches. If I start this, I have to continue this. I will persevere. So instead of playing at Carnegie Hall, I chose to become a chemical engineer and enrolled at the University of New Brunswick. Now, engineering was a tough fit for me, but I relied on that perseverance that I learned at a very young age to stick it out and graduate. At the time, more than 95% of my class was males. I was one of less than 10 graduating females in all engineering disciplines. So being comfortable working in a male-dominated industry such as the energy industry had never been really an issue for me. Probably one of the earliest lessons I learned in my career, which began at university with those lopsided male-female ratios. Problem solving, a broad understanding of technical issues, an ability to bring focus and clarity to thinking both inside and outside the box. These skills were immense value in the world of management and leadership. I liken these engineering skills to the framework of a building. The foundation is complete, the basic form is clear, and the finishing is ready to be applied. All of the engineering skills I gained were and continue to be critical. All are in demand, and all are valued by organizations interested in creating leading-edge learning organizations. I've had several important mentors in my career. 3 in particular stand out for me. Each were different, and I cannot thank them enough for my success due to their guidance and examples that they provided to me. The first taught me that I could work in a male-dominated environment. The bottom line, don't expect special treatment. Capability, confidence, and earning respect for your contribution is what matters. This mentor taught me to have the confidence. The second mentor often left me feeling frustrated. He was always there, and I was always with him. I followed him everywhere. But I sort of felt like his little puppy. I absolutely had no responsibility. Now, I have to understand he was an expert in his field. And, I was just sort of hoping, just lob me the ball once. He would, let alone throw me a ball. But what I didn't realize, that one day he handed me the most critical parts of his job. I hadn't realized what he was doing is that he was teaching, educating, and passing on his knowledge so that when I stepped into his role, I would be successful. He was the educator who provided me the building blocks I needed to succeed. The third and more recent mentor was my boss for a number of years at Enbridge Gas Distribution in Toronto. For the first year of working together, we both felt uncomfortable because we had very different styles of communication and very different styles of leading. Through time and with mutual respect, we recognized these differences and built on them to build on my strengths and to improve my weaknesses, well, without either one of us having to change. He taught me how to apply both the knowledge, those building blocks, and the confidence I had gained to continue a successful career. Now, the point of this slide is what really matters from what I learned from my mother and my mentors. None of what I've said really matters unless you are happy and comfortable in what you're doing. It is really more about passion and going with what your gut tells you is right. It is about being true to yourself, not trying to emulate what others might think you should do. I have seen people I admire outside the office walk inside an office and they change their personality. And that can be particularly true for women. Women are more intuitive and learn to be intuitive early in life. This is a wonderful component of leadership, but too many try to squash this advantage in business and solve problems only by weighing the facts and suppressing other natural abilities. Facts are important, but lots of people can tally up facts. Very few have the ingredients needed to be a great leader. So let me leave you with a few simple thoughts about why I have enjoyed success in my career. Some ideas that I hope that can help you or help all of us become better leaders and better people. Number one, I believe in integrity and honesty at all times and in all situations. Number two, I believe in getting out of your comfort zone and often. I earned a lot of stripes by broadening my skill sets through taking on a diversity of roles in a male-dominated industry. And do not look at roles as promotions, but as progression steps. I even took a role that was 2 steps down a ladder as opposed to even taking one laterally or up a ladder. It was the best choice in my career that I've ever made. Number 3, I can deal with ambiguity and gray issues by using my engineering background to assist in confirming my gut feel. I will make decisions based upon intuition, and I will make a judgment call. Now, I know this is not necessarily a trait associated with engineers, but it has complemented my engineering strengths. Number 4, I believe in clarity and bringing focus to what is going on. That means being precise, to the point communications. I don't use big words. I don't like to joke about engineers, but I really don't know many big words. Number 5, a lesson I learned from my mother, I look at the glass as half full rather than half empty. And that also applies to the concept of a glass ceiling for women in business. I have never experienced one. I know other women who have, and I respect those. But in my life, I never saw a glass ceiling. I never looked for one, so I was never limited by one. That said, I have experienced different approaches between men and women to solving differences of opinion that initially made me a little uncomfortable. For example, I remember very early on in my career, I had a heated debate with a colleague. We were on opposite sides of how to solve a problem. The discussion got very heated to the point where people came to the room to see if everything was okay. And we were really getting hot under the collars, both of us. And all of a sudden he stopped, he looked at his watch and he says, Janet, it's 10 o'clock, let's go grab a coffee. What? I'm sitting there, I'm still flustered, I'm still angry, and he just cut it off like there was nothing to this, and we're gonna go have a coffee together. So he learned from me that day that sometimes people can't just drop it. And I learned from him that sometimes you should just drop it. And I know my husband often wishes that I probably would remember that learning a little more often than I do. So my final piece of advice is that you must be who you are and be happy and comfortable with that person. As long as I am happy accomplishing something, nothing else matters. I didn't strive for this position that I'm in today. I simply worked hard to be in a role where I felt I could add value, a role where I could be happy doing what I was doing. The rest took care of itself. In many ways, learning to be a leader as a woman in a male-dominated industry is the same process as becoming an integrated and healthy person. It involves developing self-confidence, empathy for others, and the ability to believe that working with others, you truly can make change and have an impact. And of course, it is also important to learn those leadership skills early, such as motivating, delegating, and balance, something I learned at 6. Thank you. So, any questions?